Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to another episode of Intuitive Creators Spotlight. Here we share stories, insights, inspiration for those of you who want to embrace your own power, for those of you who want to step into something that's bigger, abundant, and you want to be seen for who you are, for your beautiful gifts, and also eventually maybe be rewarded for those beautiful gifts too. Today we have as a guest Debi. Debi has a passion in empowering people to step into their purpose, whether it means, venturing into a new business or transitioning careers, or maybe just experiencing a beautiful transformative journey. She is here to guide people through that. Her story is very inspiring, and I believe many of you will resonate with that. So stay tuned until the end of this episode to hear, all the things that Debi and I will be sharing. And if you resonate with any of it, feel free to reach out to us and ask the questions in the comments for this video. So I can't wait to connect with all of you here and with Debi. Hello, Debi. How are you? And tell us what's something exciting that's happening in your life and business at the moment. We would love to hear that.
Hey Stella, thank you so much for inviting me to this gorgeous space. It's a pleasure to be here and pleasure to talk to you today. And as you said, I am really passionate about helping people empower themselves to step out of being told what to do and into what they want to do, and to really just light up their lives. So at the moment, exciting things going on in my business at the minute are that I am developing a brand new business mentoring program called Catalyst, which will be released in 2024. And I have a free event coming up in November of this year as we're recording this, that's going to be promoting that, called Soul Fire. And the whole purpose of it is to light your soul on fire as you follow your dreams and your passions. So that's what I'm really excited about at the moment. But alongside that, I am working with some fabulous people at the moment, just helping them step into their passion and their purpose. And it has been a really fantastic year. And I'm so excited to see what 2024 is going to bring as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. So it's great to be here to talk to you today.
That's very exciting, and we will share all of these links in the comments for this video, so check it out. I am excited for you as well, Debi, because we've connected this year, and as soon as we've connected, I felt your beautiful heart and your beautiful energy, and I'm so thankful to know you and now to interact with you
Likewise.
and do this interview here as well. Debi, could you share a little bit about your journey and what inspired you to guide people through those specific kind of transitions, maybe to change their career or to start a new business? What
Yeah,
inspired you to do that? Mm-hmm.
certainly no problem at all, Stella. Um, there was a few pivotal moments. I think in everyone's journey there are life changing pivotal points, and I had a couple of them, but it was really the one that spurred me in this direction was when I was made redundant from my job. And it was back 2007, 2008, that time when the recession, the UK was going into recession. There had been a massive big property boom, and then it all went bust. And at the time, I was working for a big firm of solicitors, lawyers in Northern Ireland, and I was working in their IT department. And I thought I was safe as houses. On the surface, I looked happy. On the surface, it looked good. I had the well-paid corporate job. I had the nice car. I had the marriage, the kids, everything that on the surface looked good. In hindsight, when I look back, I realized I was far from good. I was far from good, and that the universe kind of delivered me this redundancy blow for a specific reason. Okay, these things always happen. At the time, you don't see it. At the time, it's like the worst has happened. I have just had the rug pulled out from under me. So I remember when it happened. It was an afternoon in November, and the boss rang me and says, "Can you come down to room 3?" And it was never a good thing to be called to room 3, but it was usually a Friday thing. So this happened on a Tuesday, and I thought, it's okay. He's just going to ask me to write a new program, or it's, nothing strange is going to happen. And he just breezed into the room. And I remember because he had quite sort of floppy hair and his hair flopped. And he came in and he went, "Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to let you go." And
Oh,
I went, "Whoa, what?" And do you know whenever you just feel your whole world going bang? I was so glad I was sitting down because it was one of those things where my legs really turned to jelly. I thought I was going to be sick. Just that awful, the fear and the panic. And I'm sure, you know, anyone watching this who has a full-time job, you know, all of us know that our jobs are the way we make our money is how we put food on the table, how we keep a roof over our heads. It's your safety net, it's your security. And when someone rips that from under you, it's terrifying. So when I was told by my boss that I didn't have a job anymore or I was on the list for being made redundant, I was like, what am I going to do? What
mm,
what actually the panic sets in. And I don't really remember hearing a lot of the other stuff he said to me in that room because I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But I remember going home, the children were still really young, and I sat on the sofa. Well, I got them to bed, got them bathed, fed, up to bed. And I remember talking to my husband about it. And he looked at me and he just went, "What are you going to do about it?" And I went, "Oh, okay, what am I going to do about it?" Right, great. And I think that was probably the beginning of the end. I think I knew then, I had already known there was cracks in the relationship before that, but I think I knew then, subconsciously at least, it was done.
because
And that night,
the question was what you're going to do, not
yeah, what are
what
you
are
going to
we
do? Not what
going.
yeah, exactly. There was no like, oh my goodness, you must be heartbroken. There was no support. It was just like, well, what are you going to do about it? Because I always fixed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of, but it actually was the best thing that ever happened to me because as I sat that night, I remember staying on the sofa that night because I was too angry at him. I couldn't go to bed. It's like I can't go to bed. And I could hear him snoring through the floorboards, and I was so cross and so upset. But then something triggered in me, and I said, "No, your life's not going to change unless you change it."
I love that.
And it was that moment of realization, and it was that triggered me onto this path now. And I had to go through some really tough times, but it was that was the pivotal moment that pushed me onto this path because I thought to myself, when did I stop being creative? When did I stop enjoying life? Because at the time I was really heavily medicated on antidepressants just to
Wow.
function. I was using alcohol to self medicate because the antidepressants keep you at this level where
Yeah.
you can't feel anything. So then the bottles of wine would help you to feel something.
And it surely is not a good combination between medication and that as well. So I can only imagine
No.
what your body had to go through because our bodies in
Yeah,
this physical realm, they take the punches, during these kind of times, and
absolutely.
it's up to us to become aware of it and start to
Hmm.
change something if we want to change. If not, maybe there is a different path of healing for other
Yeah,
people, or maybe it's longer or shorter for other people depending on their situation. So in that moment, you realized your relationship is not working anymore. You
yeah,
realize you no longer have a job. And you also realize that you're not really connecting with yourself, with your creativity, with everything that you were so connected with before, maybe, right?
yeah.
What did you do from here? Like, what were the first step for you to step into your purpose?
Yeah. So the very first thing was obviously I needed immediately to find work because that was, I think we all have to find a place of safety and stability before we can actually start doing that healing work. You can't do that healing work whenever you're not sure where your next how your next bill is being paid. So the first thing I did was get another job. I knew it was not going to be my forever job. It was another IT job, but something had shifted in here, and it was like, this is now a stepping stone. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I still didn't know what I wanted to be. I just knew I didn't want to be that person anymore. And I started to then look into, well, what do I want to do? Now, the first sort of version of it was that well, I don't want a boss to ever pull the rug out from under me again. So I want to work for myself. Now, I
Mm.
didn't know what that was going to look like. So because I was working in IT, I had this notion of maybe I could set up my own IT company. No, that would have sucked the soul right out of me. And I think I knew subconsciously that that was not for me, because it just didn't really feel right. It didn't work. But along the way, what I did was, as I went back into a job and I was paying the bills and we were starting, I then reached out to ask for help because I knew that financially we had made a mess. And I thought, well, I need to fix this. I need to fix the physicalities first. So I got the job, reached out to a friend who was a financial advisor and got her to help. And we set up a debt management plan. We got organized. That took pressure off. And at that point, I breathed, I think, for the first time in many years. And I went, right, what do I need now? What do I need to make me happy? And I thought, well, I had remembered that back whenever I was really young and whenever I was a teenager, I was fascinated with the paranormal, with spirituality, with crystals, with all those good, lovely things. And I kind of put it to bed. I put it away. My dad died when I was 14. So at this point, when this other fracture then happened with the rug being pulled out, that broke that wall a little bit. That wall that I had built at 14 kind of came down. And I started then thinking, well, I love crystals. Let's go there. Let's go back to my first love of crystals. So I did a crystal healing diploma while I was working full time. And I
Wow.
started to really, I did it part time. It was an online course. I was like, I'm going to do this and just see where it takes me. And it was fabulous. I started to learn all about crystals, and that opened the door then to learning about energy and auras and all this beautiful stuff. And I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Still didn't know how it was going to look because we
Yeah.
don't.
And it's
But that was
always
back. So that was,
evolving.
yeah, it's always evolving. That was 2010, and back in 2010, then I had completed then a crystal healing diploma. I had done some hands-on practical work, really get myself up to professional standards, working full time, but running sort of keep doing my case studies and doing all my things in the background so that I could then be able to be confidently out with this. And of course, I put this out into the world, and there was crickets. Nothing happened. People in the locality where I lived, it was a bit too woo-woo. It was a
Yeah.
little bit too out there. Come to me for crystal healing. They're like, oh, are you not an IT manager? Why? Why am I coming to you for? There was a real disconnect. And I didn't have any mentorship. I didn't have anybody telling me how to do this. I was trying to just learn for myself. But gradually, what I did was I moved in, and I thought, right, okay, I need some normal therapy. So I did an aromatherapy massage. I did reflexology, and through those, I started to develop a client base. And then it was through those three things, crystal healing, aromatherapy, and reflexology, that I found Reiki. And it was Reiki that was the game changer.
Oh, wow.
Because when I found Reiki, then I was like, there's the missing piece. And
I
that's what
just
changed
love
me.
I love how you gradually started to embrace who you are, and
Mm.
it sounds almost like you started remembering what your soul is really passionate about. And it's understandable, when you go from something so logical like IT career into something spiritual. It's like two different areas, right?
Yeah.
Probably took a while for people to understand and accept that you are stepping into this new version of yourself. And this was actually a version that was always there with you, right? It just needed the time, the perfect time, which unfortunately wasn't the happiest, you losing that job, but it needed
Yeah,
that time to activate, that desire in you to
definitely.
open up and share those things.
So for me, that it was really because Reiki then came in and I started to learn how to heal myself. That's then when I was able to let go of all the other stuff, because it was the Reiki that then supported me, the self-healing work, the introspection, the meditations, the all the gorgeous, lovely juice that comes with Reiki and helps you really be who you came here to be. And it was at that point then that, I got off the medication. I made the changes to my relationship and have the conversation with my husband and say, look, this is not working anymore. We need to go our separate ways. Um, and the beautiful thing about it was that along the way, my best friend and I, who had been at school together from we were at age 11, we'd gone through school, gone through uni, gone through, both got married, both had kids, done the whole thing. And she had always supported me all the way along. And I hadn't realized that she was actually my massive support network. And when everything, her marriage had broken down a few years beforehand, and then mine went. And we naturally then just kind of came together. So we're actually together now as life partners and have been now for the last, it's 11 years this year, almost 12 years. So
Wow.
we've come together, very closely. And she has become a real foundational part of my support network. But it was through the healing work I did on myself to get there. Gradually, with hard work and with dedication and with holding the focus of why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to help other people who had maybe been in the same situation. I was like, do you know what? If someone like me can do this, then so can you.
Yes.
Everybody can do this. You're not powerless. You're not powerless. And I used to catch myself saying things like, oh, I've got to go to work today. I'm so fed up.
Mm.
I don't want to be here. And I was like, what? This is not a dress rehearsal. This is life. I don't want to feel like that every day. I don't want to be that person. I want to show up and actually live the life that I love. Yes,
Mhm.
there will be challenges. Yes, there will be hard times, but
If
that's
you
life and that's what makes it beautiful.
Yes, and when you choose a path that is totally aligned with you, your energy, your soul, and your heart, then what happens
Yeah.
is even when you have challenges, it's a bit easier to go through them because you know that this is part of your learning process. And then what you do, you
Yes.
find solutions and you find people who can help you along the way. So, and I'm so happy to hear because I know your story. We connected before, and I
Yeah.
just loved to hear that you reshaped your life. You
Yeah.
reshaped everything, your relationship, your family unit, because
Yeah.
that's, one of the biggest support systems that a person can have, because you're with that person not 24/7, but like
Yeah. Practically.
70%.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to hear that you've reshaped that in a way that feels so aligned with who you are. And now you have the business as well. And I want to ask you this question because of course you've been through your own learning about crystals and Reiki and energy and tarot and
Yeah.
all these amazing things, and you also help people transition from one career to another or open their own business.
Yeah.
So are the people that you're working with, are they the people who want to learn the spiritual stuff and they want to open a spiritual business, or do you use all of these tools to help anyone really transition from one career to another?
I use them to help anyone who wants to change, who wants to heal. So invariably, there are two main types of people who will come into my world. You'll have the people who come in initially to go, I want to learn Reiki because I want to add it to my skill set and I want to, add it to my business. And they're maybe already established business owners who want to add this extra thing, or they want to add crystals, or they want to add tarot or shamanic practice, or whatever, any of the things I teach, they want to add. And then there are the other people who come in because they simply just have an interest in it, or it has spoken to them somehow, or they want to heal. Maybe they've gone through some trauma themselves and they recognize themselves in my story. Perhaps they've been through bereavement, or they've been through divorce, or they've been through redundancy, or they've been through any of those things, those big pivotal things that I've been through. And they recognize themselves and they're like, can you help me? And it's like, yes, of course, we can help. The thing I love most is watching how people blossom and how their faces light up when they talk about what they love, and about how then they have come in maybe a year before and they've come to me and they've been like, please help me. I'm burned out, I'm tired, I've no spark, I don't know what I want to do with my life, I'm stuck. And over that time of gentle healing, coaching, mentoring, however we work together, you see them start to go, because it might be through creative pursuits as well. I'm an artist as well, so it might be maybe through creativity that we tap into something and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
I
this
didn't know
is
you could do this.
it
And
is
that's what's
so
lovely.
healing. It is very
Yeah.
healing. I've had my my experience this summer with healing through colors. I've been like
Yeah.
a 1 week event, and we've done a lot of like shamanic journeying and other things. And a part of that week, a big part of that week was healing through color. And it brought up so many things within myself and so much peace. And yeah, like when we hear about like healing through color or through crystals, or let's guide you with tarot cards or things like that, can sometimes create for people the perception of like, oh, all of this is like, ooh, it doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
to me. But then once you sit down and you are opening up and you want to really listen what's inside, those are just the tools to help us. And I feel like it's, important to bring this into our collective awareness that everybody can use any kind of tools they want as long as it really, really helps them. And that's
Yeah.
really beautiful and powerful. So, Debi, what kind of advice would you give to people who are going through maybe a transformation in their life? They're lost. Maybe they are at a similar point that you were those years ago. What would be one advice that you could give them from here?
I think the best piece of advice and the thing that helped me most was reaching out and asking for help, not trying to do it by yourself. Because when you try to do it all by yourself, it becomes this mountain of this thing, and you're so close to it that you can't see the wood for the trees. So it is one of the most vulnerable things to have to ask for help, but it is also one of the most empowering things, because as you do that, as you accept that need to reach out and ask for help, you actually then step into your power by doing that, because you set down the pride and the ego and every reason for hiding behind it, and you say, please help me. And whenever someone else reaches that hand out, we're better together. We are all connected human beings, and we are better together than apart and alone. And in this world, we are constantly separated. We are kept separated and divided by the fear and the war and all the stuff and the destruction that goes on around the world. And simply just having connection with a human being, reaching out, whether it's through a Zoom call, whether it's in person, however it may be, connect with someone and ask for help. And if that may even mean you just do a Google search and you look for that help first, and you consume all that free help that you can find before you reach out, that's enough. But start somewhere. Don't think you have to do it by yourself. Look for your teachers and ask for help.
What an amazing advice, Debbie. Thank you so much for sharing this. If people want to find you and connect with you, and maybe connect with some of your beautiful spaces and offerings,
Yeah.
let us know where they can find you. And of course, we will add all the links, to the description of this video. But
Yeah.
if you want, I guess, if you want to share or describe the spaces that you have so that people can understand what they'll find there, I would love to hear.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the main place you'll find me on Facebook is my social media platform. So you'll find me under the Debbie Bar. I couldn't just get Debbie Bar, so I had to put the in front of it. So it sounds a little pretentious, the Debbie Bar. But you'll find me there. But you'll also find me. I have a Rocks and Rituals page as well on Facebook, and the website then is rocksandrituals.co.uk. On the Rocks and Rituals website, you'll find everything. So you'll find everything that we do. So primarily, we have one-to-one services with myself and my daughter. She's also trained as a Reiki master. Um, I do all the certified training, which is accredited, certified training in Reiki, tarot, shamanism, and crystal healing. And I also offer private mentoring and coaching for anyone who needs it, whether it's life coaching or business coaching. And I have a beautiful membership called Soul Food Circle, and that's my baby. That's my pride and joy. That's my inner circle where I work most closely with people in a little group. And we open the doors to that a couple of times a year, but it's a space where people can come and feed their souls doing whatever they want to do. And that's where I watch those beautiful journeys unfold as people grow
Mhm.
into themselves. So
Yeah.
those are my primary spaces. I am on Instagram and the other platforms as well, but primarily Facebook and the website.
Oh, thank you so much for this, Debbie, because yeah, and thank you for describing your inner circle so beautifully. Because yes, these journeys, they take time, and it's
Mm,
like sometimes like one session or two sessions, they are not enough to
that's right.
see to or experience that growth. And thank you for describing that. To everyone who's watching us, please check out the links in the description of this video. If you are a therapist, healer, coach, reader, if you work with people one-to-one, you may also want to check my link to Master Practitioner Checklist. It's a free guide that will help you understand what makes people want to connect with you, what makes them like you, trust you, and eventually want to work with you. So all you have to do is just download this freebie. And also, if you want to watch more of these amazing videos, hear inspiring stories from my guests, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell notification for this channel, Intuitive Creators Spotlight, if you're watching us on YouTube. And I honestly can't wait to see you all again. Thank you so much, Debbie, for being here with me today.
Pleasure.
And I wish you the best of luck, the best of success, and more incredible people coming into your world.
Thank you so much, Stella. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.